At Kroger, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you'd get in-store. So you can save when you order during band practice, or at the dog park, or wherever. Start your cart with the Kroger app and save from wherever today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. $35 order minimum. Restrictions may apply. Subject to availability.
And now, shop what you love and save $2 on each participating item when you buy 3 or more with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome. How are you? And let's get started. With another edition of the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day of the work week, both here on the free podcast and then the post show, if you will, the after podcast, the Patreon bonus. So excellent. We are underway for what is the 915th start of this. Thank you to Nick, who is the electrician getting ready at the arena. Hockey starts in 7 days. Nick is one of the support staff that makes sure that everything's running well. And he just subscribed again on Twitch Prime. Thank you. You're a kind gentleman. I will see you in 7 days. Unless if you join us to go see Smile tomorrow, right across from where the arena is in beautiful downtown Grand Rapids at Studio C. I'd be lying if I said I'm excited about the film. I don't like those types of movies. Sosie Bacon, the 30-year-old daughter of Kevin Bacon. Can't believe Kevin Bacon's got a daughter who's 30. Jesus. She looks like a cute female version of him. Jason Aldean is in town, I guess. Aldean, Jason something, I don't know. Country stars. And I noticed there was a bunch of buses. I don't know if that was his, but this is the type of concert Jason Aldean. He shows up with like an entourage, a convoy of vehicles. Oh, my God. But we will be downtown, going to see the film Smile tomorrow. The movie starts at 1:10, and this is like the most informal thing ever. You go down and you get a ticket. We're going to get there about 12:50 because I want to be able to see you all before we actually go into the theater, and then I won't see you because we're, seated in a theater, for God's sake. The suggestion, we can buy all of our tickets in a row from Maureen. Well, yeah. And she's like, okay, you go ahead and you get the confirmation of everyone coming, and then tell me, and I'll just buy all the tickets, and then everyone can Venmo me. In theory, that's brilliant. Okay? It really is. But it's also a pain in the ass. Because then you got to get everybody, are you going? Are you not? Oh, I'll get back. I got to check with my wife. And then I'm like, there's all these different, fuck it. I'm not dealing with that. I refuse to do any of that. That is way too much effort. Go there, buy a damn ticket, sit reasonably close to each other. You get to pick your seat. I think we'll be fine. The suggestion was made, maybe buy your ticket ahead of time in case it sells out. I don't think this film's going to sell out. Besides, it's 1:10 in the afternoon on a Saturday. We're going to be the only ones there. I think. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So we see this movie. Diana, the Queen of the Forest, is going to be there. Ben is going to be there. So myself, Queen of the Forest, Ben, you all, awesome. Go see the movie. Afterwards, hey, let's go eat and get a drink. At first, the suggestion was Pepinos across the street. Yeah, that's great. However, this is the time of year when we're all Polish in my neck of the woods here. It's some, there's Polish halls everywhere where Polish people gather, I guess. And each one of these Polish halls, usually it's an old rundown building, probably with asbestos in the walls, where Polish people gather and do Polish things. And I think Polish things are drink, probably play poker, maybe some group sex, and eat sausage and sauerkraut and guamki. Remember guamki? You have that once a year with like a red tomato sauce on it. It's really spectacular. A lot of boiled food that makes your farts smell horrible for like 2 days. They call it Pulaski days. I've looked up the history of that. It's some Polish general, I think. I've exhausted my knowledge of Pulaski days. So these all these locations of these Polish halls are dotted throughout the West Michigan area. And then, a lot of these people, what they'll do is they'll get a designated driver. Sometimes they actually have like a limo or a bus driver, and they start drinking at all of the Polish halls. So starting at like the moment they open up, they show up, they drink, and then they go to the next one. And it's a whole day's of just drinking till you're blackout drunk. You go home, probably try to have sex with your animal that lives at your house. I don't know about that. I don't know where that came from. But it's all weirdo Polish shit. So everybody in the community likes to go see these Polish people act Polish at the Polish halls. So that is whoever came up with that one. I think it was Stevie who brought that up. And I go, oh, that's a ridiculously awesome idea. Screw going anywhere else. We got to make a beeline, which probably wouldn't be that far of a drive to one of the Polish halls. Okay? So I'm excited about that. I don't do stuff like this. I don't go out and do fun things like this. So this is going to be great. I mean, my idea of fun, okay, is going up north and picking up sticks. So this is going to be just way, way out of my comfort zone. I said to Diana, I think I want to go up north again. She goes, you're not going up north again. There's enough sticks that have been picked up. So join us for that. Speaking of Ben, we did the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast yesterday. And boy, did it go off without a hitch. Oh, my God. So much fun. And I want you to be able to check that podcast out. I haven't yet posted the audio, but I will shortly after this one gets finished. But my God, the momentum of that damn show. Ben is honestly probably has the greatest sense of humor on any one person. Now, Ben doesn't exactly... No, he does say funny things to some degree. He doesn't realize that they're funny. And his infectious laughter, and he is tickled in particular ways that makes everyone else laugh. He's an absolute genius. And I don't even think he knows it. Watching that guy work and see the gears spinning in his head when he's getting ready to bust out laughing is outrageously fun. A Polish food known as kapusta. I'm not sure what that is. I know that Polish people, you get a lot of weirdo letter combinations when they spell shit out. Gonzalez, 1969, says, kielbasa, and then there's RMTHATS. That's just a misspelling. That's her dish. She likes kielbasa better than fish. Kapusta is my absolute favorite. Says I don't know. I can't even read it. It's too far away. Well, anyway, that person is a first-time chatter. Welcome to you. Ram says, this is very insulting to Ben. What? What I just said? That he's just outrageously funny? I don't think that that's insulting at all. Of course you would pick that apart, Ram. You pain in the ass. Kapusta is cabbage. Yeah, you're going to eat this food, and then immediately you're going to feel your insides liquefy. All right? You won't take a solid dump for at least 48 hours. And the smell of the gas. Oh. Listen to these ingredients. Cabbage, bacon grease, brown sugar, sauerkraut, meat chunks. That sounds like what you would whip up for, like, your dog. Or maybe livestock. Yet, people go out of their way to support the Polish Halls, pay them for their shit food, which looks like ridiculous diarrhea. All right? There's only one time of the year that anyone would even think about eating this. And it's right now in my neck of the woods. Pulaski days. Nothing like smelling that for a 30-minute drive home after you squashed some at a Gallagher concert and got it all over your clothes. Those people, when we worked on the radio, would always want to come in and talk about Pulaski days. And this is back in GRD, and we used to rip those people a new one. And I'll say this about the folks who organize Pulaski days. They can take a joke because we would beat the shit out of them. And oh, my God, we would accuse them of being stupid. We would accuse them of being ugly and drunk, and their food is shit. And they would just take it in stride. No matter what we said, it would just bounce off of them. Great, great individuals. Looking forward to going over there. That's a wonderful idea. This show originates in the Baldwin Ace Hardware Fear Bunker studio each and every day of the work week. This is the last day of the work week. All right? For some of us. Not all of us. Some of you have to work tomorrow, and I feel bad about that. All right. If you ever want to reach me, send me an email on the Shoreliners Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. In fact, I would love to read this. The multi-talented Amanda in Lima, Ohio, reached out to me. Not the Amanda who is here right now. She is equally fantastic. I've actually met Amanda. I remember meeting Amanda and her husband and her kids. They came all the way up here to a Griffins game some time ago. Hello, Eric. I'm behind on the show, as usual, LOL. Wanted to let you know that I am happy that the problem Zaniacs are gone, she writes. Now, I haven't really talked about the group formerly known as Zaniacs all this week. I'm like, I'm going to I don't want to address it. I just want to let it. I'm done. She's addressing it, though. This is from her point of view as to the problem, what the problem was. So I just wanted to give her the time of day because she took the time to write in. And she compliments me, and you know I love that. She said, like other listeners have said, I don't have an issue with devoted fans. I consider myself one, having been around since 2006. Back in the old Free Beer and Hot Wings days. However, some of their actions were really weird, to say the least. It was annoying the way they would dominate the show and the Patreon. I don't know if you remember meeting me and my family before a Griffins game. Obviously, I do. Come on. Back before COVID. But you mentioned to me something about listeners getting together, and I said, oh, yeah, I'd love to. But being from Lima, Ohio, it was too far to make the trip. It used to make me feel like less of a listener because I couldn't be there for the group stuff. But at the same time, it also seemed weird that all these adults had nothing better to do than follow your show obsessively and hang out together, even outside of the show. Well, I don't necessarily hate that. I thought that, I've had events before, so I don't necessarily have a problem with that when she says that because, I do that. We're doing that Saturday. She says, though, they just took it all too seriously, and that only ramped up with the blow-up over the, quote, conspiracy of you calling the cops on Dean. She writes, creeper. Your show is the soundtrack to my work days, my runs, doing the dishes, folding laundry, etc. You are my de-stressor, and they were adding stress to my life, which none of us needs more of. Anyway, don't want to be too long-winded, but I had to let you know I support you in the show 100%. Thank you for the podcast. You are super. Thank you, Amanda. Amanda from Lima, Ohio. Yeah, I would say this. There is less stress. The show is easier to do now. Doing this, talking for extended time, it just seems like it's very freeing. It had to happen. It's unfortunate, and I don't want to actually throw any stones right now. I probably will at some point. You know me, but right now I don't feel like doing that. I don't want to piss anybody off right now. I just want to kind of lay low. But I understand where she is coming from. All right. Thank you. Velma is gay. From Scooby-Doo. Have you been following it? We talked about this a little bit in the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, but I did a little bit more on it, and we're talking about it now. That's right. She is the one who wears the turtleneck, and she's like super brainy. And, she is full on out of the closet. Every time she's been depicted, people have like thrown. Now, I have never, ever once heard this. Never once heard this. But here she is. I don't know who that is with her or whatever. But there's all sorts of talk about this. And I guess whoever has made her in the past, here she is. She's getting hit on by Coco Diablo. And I think Coco Diablo looks pretty hot there. Is going to be the love interest. All right. Now, let's be honest here. Velma is pretty, though she's wearing the loose-fitting type of tank top, she looks very attractive with the exception of the haircut there. All right? And now, again, I had never once thought of this, but I guess other people have. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. This comment, maybe this will inspire you to get on out of that closet. I'm already out of the closet. All right? And by the way, quit trying to make it seem like that's some type of insult. Everybody knows that being gay is not a negative. All right? We've already covered this in the ever-changing landscape of the psyche of your old pal Eric Zane. You know, former homophobe. You're like, what? Oh, no, that's true. That's true. Former homophobe. Admitted on the radio. You're like, what? Huh? That all stems from the time that I was at Meijer, my Meijer here. And I was at the trunk, like getting the bottles out. And some gentleman pulled up and said, oh, my God. You got a nice butt. And he's in the driver's side. I go, what? He goes, you got a really nice butt. And I go, okay. And then I was like shocked and all like hurt and disgusted. I'm like, what? And then he drove away. So now what should have been an amazing compliment, like if I'm at my age now, if someone said that to me now, I'd be like, oh, man, thanks. If I was gay, your dick would be in it. All right. But instead, I was like, oh no, this is so terrible. And then I went to the radio station the next day and told the story, and I was like, I'm so offended. I mean, can you believe that? That's sick. And everybody on that show is smarter than me, so they're all looking at me like, hey, you sound like a GD homophobe. Like, no. Those gays shouldn't be allowed to do that. You guys just give me a compliment. I'm like, all hurt. But that isn't me now, you know? I've grown. I don't have any problem with gay people. I don't have a problem with anybody. There's a few people I have a problem with. Bruce, what are you doing over there? Trying to get comfortable. So Velma is gay, and there's a new series coming out where it is official. She is gay. There'll be nothing but gayness for our pal Velma. Coco Diablo hitting on her here. And look, pride. Okay, great. Well, now what I do know is that some people who have tried to write her story in whatever incarnation of Scooby-Doo, like James Gunn, the famous filmmaker, he tried full on to make her gay in one of the previous incarnations. And the studio was like, no. So let's get into this. A new movie has put to rest decades of fan speculation and suggestions from previous stewards of the Scooby-Doo franchise, that confirming that Velma Dinkley, the cerebral mystery solver with the ever-present orange turtleneck, is canonically, how do you say that? Canonically a lesbian. To many fans who had long presumed as much and treated her as a lesbian icon, it was not a shocking revelation. Thank you, Brian Johnson. Just signed up on Patreon. The Brian Johnson from what's that show called again? That movie. Clerks? To many fans who had long presumed as much and treated her as a lesbian icon, it was not a shocking revelation, but her appearance in Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo, which was released on Tuesday in several digital services, was the first time the long-running franchise openly acknowledged her sexuality, thrilling some fans who were disappointed that it took so long. Scooby-Doo, created by Hanna-Barbera Productions, first appeared as a Saturday morning cartoon in 1969. They tried to make her a lesbian then. It generally followed a group of teenage sleuths. Did you know that Shaggy's name was Norval Rogers? I had no idea. It was Velma, Daphne Blake, Fred Jones, Norval Rogers, Shaggy, and Scoob. Previous Scooby-Doo writers and producers have said that Velma was a lesbian, but said pushback by the studios would not allow them to depict her as one. The new movie, which was directed by Audrey Harrison, leaves no doubt to her sexuality. In one scene of the newest iteration, a blushing Velma, voiced by Katie Michucci, is smitten at the sight of a new character, Coco Diablo, who mirrored Velma's fashion sense with her own turtleneck and oversized glasses. In a later scene, they are seen doing a 69 completely naked. Some of that is true. In a later scene, she denies Coco is her type before admitting, "I'm crushing big time Daphne. What do I do? What do I say?" It was the kind of overt reference to her sexuality that had failed to make it into its final cuts before. Now, this is big for the gay community, man. They're always looking for representation. You know, who's going to be our next champion? Now, I would love to be that champion, Eric Zane, the champion for gays everywhere. Gays, lesbian, changing gender, queer, bi, I don't know, whatever. I don't care. I'm your champion. From homophobe to gay champ. Responding to a fan on Twitter, James Gunn, who wrote the screenplay for Scooby-Doo, a 2002 live-action film, remember that one, wrote in 2020, Velma was explicitly gay in my initial script. But the studio just kept watering it down, becoming ambiguous, which was the version that they shot, then nothing, the released version, and finally they made Velma have a boyfriend in the sequel. Oh my God, come on, people. He wrote this in the tweet, which was reported widely at the time and has since been deleted. So Gunn keeps getting compromised, you know? He has one idea in mind, and then they water it down, and then he finally admits it, and all right, before we uncancel you, you got to delete that tweet about you saying Velma was gay. That same year, Tony Cervone, the co-creator of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, a 2010 series on Cartoon Network, posted an image on Instagram of Velma standing in front of a pride flag, which is what we already showed you. We made our intentions as clear as we could 10 years ago, Mr. Cervone wrote. Most of our fans got it. To those that didn't, I suggest you look closer. Yeah, you don't need to look closer. I mean, my God. She's standing in front of a pride flag, and with whoever that is, I don't know who that character is. Kenny says, so Velma keeps getting the lesbian version of Cockblocked. Absolutely. All she wants to do is be a lesbian, and everybody wants to depict her as one. I mean, she's got, well, I hate to say her face makes her look like a lesbian, but it does. It's the face and the glasses and the haircut. It looks a little lesy, you know, right? Stereotypical lesy. Cole in Colorado Springs, Colorado says, this could be the name of the book, Eric Zane, From Homophobe to Gay Champ. I'm all about it. Kenny says, I remember thinking Velma was cute as a kid. Well, yeah, I can see that. And I can see in some of these images some real sexuality there. Like in this image right here, when Coco Diablo is hitting on her. I mean, she's showing lots of skin with the little mini dress there. The high socks has always been hot. And she's very shapely. Okay? And she has enormous boobs. Now, this is a butterface. I will say that. I am not attracted to her face. And the hair is atrocious. I think that's Shag in the back seat. He might be pounding his pud. So sexuality is a big deal now with Velma. It is front and center, and they are handling this like the champions that they need to be. While most of the gang has had many romantic interests, notably between Fred and Daphne, Velma has never really had a main love interest. Well, I don't recall Shag ever having any type of love interest. She had occasional flirtations and brief relationships, notably with Johnny Bravo in a 90s cartoon crossover, but her romantic feelings were rarely as central to the story as other characters. When she did date Shag. Oh, that's a match made in hell. Stinky pothead. In Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, he said, it's something that doesn't feel natural for both of them. Oh, no. Yeah, without a doubt. That's a horrible thing. Shag is the type of guy who just, he's strung out on heroin now, and he loses consciousness, and then he comes out of it to some degree, and then has sex with the dog. That's what Shaggy is a lost cause. More recently, the shows and movies have increasingly hinted at her interest in women, so it's not something that's coming out of the blue, he said. He said, Velma's a fan favorite because she speaks to a common struggle. She's the smart, awkward one who often leads the gang in the right direction but doesn't get as much credit as the others. So, basically, you got Daphne and Fred getting all the credit because they're attractive and tall and handsome, tall and hot, and then they have hardcore sex in the van, and Velma is left, all she wants to do is have sex with a woman. And no matter what happens, she isn't allowed to do that because too many people too many cooks. A lot of young women and a lot of people in general could just look to her as a great example and role model to look up toward. He said, well, now that's bullshit. You cannot look at a cartoon character as someone to look up to. I find that insulting, that we live in a day and an age where, people interact with people and the gay people have to look at some cartoon nerd to draw inspiration. Fuck that. Come on now. I swear to God, that sounds like the hardest thing in the world to me. To me, from a white man, from the perspective of a white man, I can't figure out what it's harder to be, a gay person or a black person. And God help you if you're both. Shit. Got to look to Velma to look up? Come on now. And another change to Velma's character. In 2021, HBO Max ordered a spin-off adult animation series called Velma, Poon Destroyer. Some of that may be true. Mindy Kaling, who's awesome, is going to voice the character, who will be South Asian in the show. So now they're okay. The sexuality is morphing, and the heritage. Velma has become South Asian. Nobody ever complained about a talking dog solving mysteries, Mindy Kaling said. So I don't think they'll be upset over a brown Velma. Warner Brothers, which owns the Scooby-Doo franchise. Well, that's ridiculous, though. That's her comparison. Nobody ever complained about a talking dog solving mysteries. Well, but we're not changing the breed of dog. Like, I think that people would be upset if they said, all right, coming to HBO Max, Scooby-Doo, and it's a pug. People would be furious. They would probably be as outraged as like when, January 6th happened. So that's a horrible comparison to make. Stupid. Nobody ever complained about a talking dog solving mysteries. So I don't think they'll be upset over a brown Velma. I actually am kind of upset about Velma's heritage. You can't change the heritage of the character. That's ridiculous. I mean, I was all up in arms when Nick Fury was a black guy. In the comics, Nick Fury was a white guy. Come on now. That one wasn't so bad because it wasn't like in film form. It was just, a comic book. But we know Velma is a white chick. You've already changed her sexuality. Why the hell do we have to change her race? And Kaling's comparison is stupid. The rise of lesbian characters on television was a slow process, marked often by gimmicks and blatant plays for ratings. It often came in the form of lesbian kiss episodes, written largely to titillate rather than to explore genuine relationships. In recent decades, lesbian relationships on television have become more complex, even if the tropes aren't entirely gone. Wow. All right. Well, do any of you gay audience members look up to Velma? If you are a gay person enjoying this show and you go get him, Velma, I'm going to fire you from being an audience member. Okay? If you want to look up to anybody in the whole gay acceptance movement and you are gay, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to look at. A mirror. Look at you. You are the leader. So get out there and be gay. from your old pal Eric Zane, reformed homophobe. All right. Thank you for enjoying the show on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. But I must say goodbye to you now. If you want the full show, it's on Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. The live stream. If you want the audio podcast, because this all becomes the podcast when this is done. So what you do is wherever you download shows, download the Eric Zane Show podcast. And off you go. And please tell your friends. If you ever want to reach out to me on email, eric@ericzaneshow.com on the Shoreliners Striping inbox. Have a great day. Twitch and Facebook. Brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. Sorry, I got distracted. Twitter brought to you by Blue Frost IT, YouTube, Frank Fuss, My Policy Shop Insurance. Sammy writes, I think I might need to validate my own existence by forcing others to approve of my banging habits. Chris K. in Grand Rapids says, be gay on your own time. Comic book guy from The Simpsons. Blood on Stars. Oh, first time chat. Guess I'm taking down all my Velma posters today. Kenny in Nashville says, my favorite lesbian gay character is Ellie from The Last of Us games. She's badass. Series coming to HBO next year, but unsure about the casting. Jury's still out. Speaking of viewing, Dahmer is like the biggest thing going. Everybody's all about the dramatization of the story of Jeffrey Dahmer on Netflix. It is, I mean, seriously. Now, I haven't watched a second of it, but I have watched a lot of true crime documentaries about the case. So I haven't been that excited about it, but I am going to get into it. You know me, I'm always last. Amanda says it's very difficult to watch. There's a moment when they depict Dahmer cooking up a penis in the frying pan, where he's got like a frozen penis, and he's like, all right, time to eat, and he fries up penis. Okay? So that's, I mean, this happened. There was a moment in time when he said, oh, God, I'm starving, but I don't really, what can I whip up quick? Oh, I got that frozen penis in the freezer. I'm going to fry up some penis. It actually is depicted in the show. You hear it sizzling, the fried penis. That's what I heard when listening to the Drew and Mike podcast. Stevie's like, wait a minute, I don't remember that. Amanda says, I think I'm still on episode 2. It's very hard to watch. This is coming from someone who loves true crime. Radio voice Linda says, I thought that was organ meat of some type. Well, maybe. Maybe they were exaggerating. I have not seen this show, but it doesn't matter. It's horrible. I've talked about this last week. I talked the family members of the victims are like, this is disgraceful. How can we be making money off of this? And I actually kind of see the point now, but I do, but I don't. I guess ignore it. I don't know. We have an insatiable appetite for shows like this. We love this stuff. Kim says, I don't understand why people would choose to watch this. Yeah, you're right. And I think that when you take a step back, it's like, God, what am I doing? But we as a society love these types of shows. True crime is the thing. Nowadays, you wake up in the morning and you put on your true crime podcast. The night before, you went to bed watching your true crime TV show. You've got your true crime book that you're reading. Your kids are doing true crime puppet shows. They've got true crime flip books. The teachers are doing True Crime Minute. It's everything. It is influencing. But you're absolutely right. The only reason why these shows are made is because we love serial killers. It's insane. We know this. Today, we're like, God, I hope somebody goes on a vicious killing spree so that in 10 years, we can be breaking it down on the podcast. You know? Anything criminal or catastrophic, there's a story there. We love stories. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to take the worst stories. So if I had to choose between a cannibalistic gay serial killer who's eating fried dick, and a kid who overcomes cancer, I'm going fried dick every time. Not 10 out of 10 times, I'm going fried dick. That, to me, is a better story than the child beating cancer and scoring the winning touchdown. Screw that shit. Put it on the Hallmark Channel. I'm going fried dick every time. You get like the Babe Ruth, the serial killers, John Wayne Gacy, Dahmer. What the fuck is one guy? Bundy. Oh, my God. BTK. Oh. And all these poor families, they're not about it. They're like, Jesus Christ, all we want to do is try not to pay attention to this shit. And every time we turn around, here we are worshiping these murderers. Guilty as charged. And I don't know what it is. There would have to be a law that would have to be passed that would keep these things from being made. That is the only way. And you know that that's not going to happen because this is the land of the free and the home of the brave. And if we want to see stories about a guy eating a fried dick, damn it, that's it. Florida man says Eric sounds like he's getting off while naming these serial killers. I did. I had an orgasm right there. You caught me. Right now, I'm sitting in my own semen. I don't know what it is. We love it. And there's always a redemption arc, too. Like Adnan Syed, who was just, that's a serial, season 1 of Serial. He was just let off. He was just, freed. They got 30 months or 30 days to decide if they're going to charge him again. But, yeah, I mean, as soon as you heard Serial, that true crime podcast, you were like, God, well, there's no way this guy did it. That's another kind of true crime podcast. The one was like, well, there's no way this person did this. It's like Stephen Avery. There's no way in hell Stephen Avery did that. Killed that chick from the publication, Car and Driver, whatever the fuck it was. Auto Trader. And then Brendan Dassey, too. Oh, my God. Absolutely horrible. Okay, so I got to get into the Dahmer thing. I have to. I'm so late. Ben, while discussing that, Ben also brought up on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast that the new Game of Thrones show is absolute shit. A pile of shit. I knew it. He goes, I so hate that show. Damn it. All right. Rick from TC Paintball is going to join us in moments. And what's crazy is I promised him that we would be talking about various stories that I planned on covering on this show leading up to it, and I haven't done a one of them. So I got to do that next. I need to talk about Joe Biden pardoning everyone in the United States in prison who are in jail for federal marijuana charges. This is absolutely awesome. Thank God. I don't care who did it. if it was Biden or Trump or a Republican, as long as these poor slobs get out of prison on federal marijuana charges. I'm going to get to that in just a second here. Sorry, I'm teasing stories, and I didn't want to do that. Anyway, join me on Patreon after the show ends. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. $5 or $10 a month. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. The trusted place in West Michigan to get your vehicles repaired. They work on every car under the sun with the exception of Volkswagens. The absolute gurus on EVs and hybrids. Those cars require a very special skill set, more than just your local grease monkey. So keep that in mind. Irvines.com, ervines.com. By the way, if I suddenly fall down, it's because my Achilles tendon ruptured. I've been feeling a little stress on that thing lately, and I'm afraid that I'm just very, very concerned that I'm having some type of issue. A&E Heating and Cooling reminds you that with heating season now underway, $79 is all it's going to cost you to get that thing tuned up. You need your furnace tuned up before you turn it on, and if you are in West Michigan, this is who you call, 616-516-8579. Now, if you already have somebody, I want you to try A&E Heating and Cooling. Do this for me, 616-516-8579, and for the love of God, do not call Service Professor. Holy shit. They will not fix it in a snap. They're gonna scam you in a snap. Hello to the Kent County Health Department. AccessKent.com/health. That is their website. The WIC program is being spotlit this month. If for some reason there is an issue with putting food on the table, go here first. AccessKent.com/health and inquire about the WIC program. You pay for it your whole life with your taxes. If you need it, use it. There's no shame in that. AccessKent.com/health. Audio check. And video check. Joe Biden pardons all these poor slobs rotting away in jail.
Today, President Biden changed the lives of thousands of Americans 33 days before the midterm elections.
No one should be in jail.
By the way, when you have this card, he's doing it smart. He probably could have done this on like day one. But when you have a big one like this, you wait, you let those guys rot for a couple more months. All right. I'm sorry, a couple more years. And then just before the midterm, you drop that on them. Same thing yesterday. We talked about him banning the export of gasoline to countries that need it. Though that's going to be crippling for the world, it's a political move. It's a stunt. You say, oh, yeah, well, look what I just did 34 days before the midterm election. This is why you should vote Democratic, because I'm doing everything I can to keep the gas prices down. And then he does this one, which is a no-brainer, which should have been done day one in office, but whatever. I guess beggars can't be choosers, you know?
Jail just for using or possessing marijuana.
The president granted a full pardon for simple possession of marijuana as a federal crime. Weldon Angelos has been advocating for this clemency.
Having this pardon is going to allow these individuals to move on with their lives.
I like this guy, this dude. He's got a picture of him behind him. Look at him.
But there had been no outward sign this dramatic move was coming. The president held unrelated events in New York State. Aboard Air Force One, he used his pen to wipe out these prior federal convictions. An estimated 6,500 people convicted from 1992 to 2021, and thousands more who live in the District of Columbia. Angelos previously had his own drug convictions pardoned and met with Biden officials on this policy.
The society has determined that cannabis is not a crime, and so the federal government needs to catch up with the rest of the nation.
advocates say these convictions lead to real-world barriers in jobs and housing that have been a greater burden in minority communities. Candidate Biden in 2020 promised to take action on marijuana convictions.
Of a marijuana conviction. Automatically, that should be expunged. So when you get asked a question, have you ever been convicted? You can honestly say no, because you have to put it down now on a job application.
Laws and attitudes have changed. 19 states and the District of Columbia permit marijuana use for adults. Medical marijuana use is legal in 38 states and D.C. The president is urging governors to grant similar pardons, and his administration will review whether marijuana should still be classified with drugs like LSD under federal law.
And Kelly joins me live.
Yeah, that's true. It's like class 1 heroin and pot. There's a big difference.
Now, Kelly, the president is not decriminalizing
I do both of those.
Marijuana possession with these pardons, right?
That's right. He doesn't have that power. Congress would have to change federal law on marijuana possession. And the president is clear that there must still be strict laws on trafficking, marketing, and selling marijuana to underage users.
Whatever. Tell you what. Where I live here, not only is it one of the 19 states, but it seems like anytime I go anywhere where there's people gathering, people are smoking marijuana like as they're walking down the street. At that 28th Street Metro Cruise, that enormous parking lot, you know, you can get away with smoking pot, you know, while you're reading a children's book to kids. But if you light up a cigarette, get the fuck out. Go stand by the smoker's outpost with all your tobacco friends. This is for pot only. You know? I go up to the food truck, and it's just, all I smell is, I don't smell fucking hot dogs. I smell pot. So, I mean, we have really, really gone the extra mile to dive full in to the whole pot thing. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's absolutely everywhere. But that's really good, though. I question the timing of it, and I wonder if anyone will. I would say on a White House briefing, I would say, so hold on a second. Let me get this straight here. You're almost 2 years into this term. Why are you 33 days before the midterm election doing this? This should have been done the first day. If all it takes is you to sit down in front of something and sign your name on it, these poor slobs had to rot in prison for the last 2 years waiting for you to get your dick out of your hand, you know? It's too long. All right. Want to cover this. Some guy, 100, speaking of running, you know, we're talking about Mike Ball, Eric Zane, racing against each other to raise money for the AT Children's Project. Still looking for you to help out if you could. Make a bet, and you can earn big money. All right? Donate to guests. Click on this link right here that you can see, and I will, of course, link it up in the show notes. And I have it for you right now as you are watching this show. Drop a $25 donation /bet. That is a tax-deductible donation. And then you guess who's going to win, Eric or Mike, on the October 16th Grand Rapids Half Marathon. Pick a time by how much your champion is going to win by. If you are closest, you will win $300. If Mike wins, $200 for second place, $100 for third place. And if I win, he's doubled the purse, so $600, $400, $200. There you go. Do that, please. And I bring that up because this old timer is 100 years old, and he's like, hell yes, I'm running. My God, this is what I would love to be. Now, I can't even run consistently at age 52, So I don't know how I'll be able to do this when I'm 100. But what this is guaranteeing for this guy, because he's been so healthy, is he is going to die a quick, painless death one day. We're all going to die. But he's going to be free of any horrible diseases forever, okay, because he's so physically fit. And then one day his heart's just going to go, that's enough. And then he won't even feel a thing. This is the way to go. I love it.
Runners often strive to outpace time.
The nice thing about running at this age.
Mike Fremont defied.
All right, he's got a shirt that says Streaker, a hat that says I Canoe, and, well, you know, yes, we do have a little bit of a scoliosis thing going, but what the fuck?
Is that
There's very little competition.
Okay, he's 100 years old. He's got a great demeanor. Holy shit. So that means he's a World War II veteran, no doubt. He was born in 1922. Oh, yeah. He was old when he was in the war.
Competition.
at 100, the retired Cincinnati
All right, now this isn't really a run. This is a aggressive walk.
engineer and great-grandfather
that's okay.
of 4 logs 5 to 10 miles 3 times a week.
Oh, my God. So he's putting in 15 to 30 a week.
So sweet.
His 14-minute mile pace only slowed by starstruck fans.
You're an inspiration to a lot of people.
Does that feel weird to hear that you're a celebrity?
Absolutely.
14 minutes a mile. That's just a little bit faster than what I did last year at the Grand Rapids Half Marathon.
Embarrassing.
With 60 marathons.
And he looks good, too. I mean, he looks better than me. Fuck.
Under his feet, Mike boasts 4 world records. Fastest marathons for his age at 80 and 90. Fastest half marathons at 90 and 91. Running started as therapy in his 30s.
Okay, look at him here. Look at him here. Holy cow, lean and mean. You know how much tail he must have got? Especially wearing that shirt. He needs to bring that shirt back. Jesus. So in his 30s, 70 years ago. That is incredible.
After the loss of his...
When it's time for an adventure on the open highway, one quick call to American Family Insurance gets you headed in the right direction. Our travel peace of mind package is there if you encounter a bump in the road. From roadside assistance to rental car coverage, we have you covered. Find a local agent or get a quote at amfam.com.
American Family Insurance.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
First wife.
So I started to run, and it worked.
Decades later, after battling cancer, Mike went vegan, and with the encouragement of his second wife.
We were just talking about this the other day. I need to do this, man. I need to go hardcore vegan. Wipe out all meat. Now, at the end of this sentence, I'm going to say I'm never going vegan because I love meat too much. But that's true. If you can manage that,
Marilyn ran marathon after marathon.
What do you think is fueling it?
My pussy.
I think he can't quit.
I don't know who this is.
Proving her point. His other...
Wait, did they say who that was?
What do you think is fueling it?
I think he can't quit.
Proving her point. His other hobby, canoeing. Of course, racing those, too.
For people who think at 100, a person should be slowing down, what do you say to that?
I think they ought to be speeding up.
Proof, no matter your age, your best time may still lay ahead. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, since to outpace time.
Well, that's inspirational. We love that guy. Sarah says he's adorable. To think that he's like 11 years older than my dad, who's old as balls. To the question, what do you say to someone who's, what should they be doing? And his response, Corey says, a steady diet of ass and pussy. Oh, shit. I'm casually vegetarian. I guess that woman is second wife, Rick? Oh, my God. She's young as hell. There's a nice comment from Bigfoot Rose. I don't recognize the name. I think I might have seen you a time or two there. I appreciate you, Easy. Thank you for everything that you do. Oh, no. The pleasure is mine. Are you kidding me? I'm just glad to be able to have someone paying attention to it. All right. It is time for Trigger Time with Rick from TC Paintball. One of my favorite people to bring on here. Never short of things to say. Let's bring him
in. Good morning, Eric Zane.
Hey, Rick, how are you?
How come you don't play my intro anymore?
I don't play any intros.
I know. I
just kind of get to it. The reason why.
You do a batch of them?
No.
Give me a new format. I'll do a new one.
No, the reason why is because they have what's called a high burn factor. And when you what that means is you don't have to play it very many times before it becomes just nothing. So it's almost like a waste of time. Huh. So you just and that's just by realizing that well after the fact. It isn't that they were good or bad or anything like that. I figured I'm just going to get to it. Play a second of the intro and then just get after it.
Did it have anything to do with the people doing the intros thought they were too involved in the show?
No, because I eliminated them before that.
Got it.
Yeah. But all right, welcome in. How are you, Rick?
I'm having a great week.
Are you 50 yet?
Oh, God. That sounds so foreign. It sounds so foreign. I didn't think I'd ever hear those words. Actually, I'm 1 year away.
Okay, so we're in the same ballpark, around 50. So I just showed a clip of the man who's 100, okay? And I don't know how that's even possible because I have so many aches and pains now at 50.
I'm saying, my body is breaking down on me daily. But, he is number one in his age group. There's no doubt.
Oh, my God, yes. Yeah, without a doubt. So competitively, that's what drives you. Is it's the competing that's like, oh, that's my favorite thing, right? You like want to win.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Will there ever be something else that you do as you can, like 10 years from now, what will you be doing competitively?
I think I'll be golfing. My dad took up golf when I was, around 10 years old or something, and he got super into it, got really competitive, and he's 83 now. He's still golfing. I took about a 30-year break from golfing, and this year, randomly, my wife said to me, hey, some people at work are starting a hackers golf league. Do you want to golf? And I said, no. And then I did it. And she said, this would be a great thing for us to do together. So I said, okay, I'm in. That makes sense. So I started doing it. And then all of a sudden I'm buying clubs, I'm buying bags, I'm buying rangefinders, I'm buying all this shit. And now I'm a golfer.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So you're in the cart? Or you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. But once the competitive thing kicks in, and I'm similar. But, I find myself like, Jesus, if I go out for a run the next day, I'm like, good God, this hurts.
Yeah. And, that's high impact, man. I've never been a runner, aside from training for various sports and whatnot, just to go out and run. I can't do it. It just, I'm having knee issues now, but even before I really had any knee issues, I would just be achy in my joints after pounding the pavement for a while.
I'm wondering if we're supposed to be running because I got a pal who runs all the time, and he had both of his knees replaced. Holy shit. Come on now. Actually,
how long was he down for? Do you know?
I don't. I don't think he had them done at the same time either.
I'm contemplating that because I really need it in my right. It's hard for me to get around with my right knee right now. It's just garbage, and I'm so stubborn. I don't want to go under the knife. I'm too busy to do that and take time off. But for a quality of life, for the next however many decades, I feel like I need to do it. I really need to start contemplating that pretty heavily.
Bruce, who works over at Irvine's Auto Repair, he did that, and he swears by it. He's like, oh, it's not perfect, but I'm much better off. I think, and here's the problem. With whatever it is that's causing your problem, it'll continue to, with arthritis, fall apart and degenerate, and that's just a real disaster. And the worse that gets, the harder the surgery becomes,
I know. Everybody that has it says you got to have it, and I'm so stubborn about it.
God, is this an old injury or just it fell apart?
No, it's not an injury. It's degenerative arthritis is what I have on my knees.
Okay.
And one of my meniscuses, if I'm saying that right, meniscuses. Yeah. One of my meniscuses is like 80% gone, and the other one is like 50 to 60% gone. So it's not going to get any better on its own. I'm just too stubborn.
Rick, I want to discuss Joe Biden making all these guys now free to leave jail over pot.
Can I get an amen?
How about that? I think that's fantastic, but I think it's too long. It took too long.
There's no doubt, because politics is a game. It's a game. They're not doing things to benefit us. They're doing things to benefit themselves. And the time of the release on this information and these situations, I guess, it's all about what it does for them. And it's just disgusting, really.
So basically, before he was elected, he felt this way. He feels that way this minute. So for 2 years, has he just been chewing on it? I mean, that's bullshit.
Well, they live in a glass house. Like, what the life that they experience is not the life of, they're not representatives of us, because they live a different life. They live outside of what we're able to do. So they can do whatever they want, and they have their own agendas and schedule. And when it behooves them to do something for, the common man or whatever, they'll do it if it's going to help them in the next election cycle. It's such a game.
Yeah, and so do you know anyone who's ever been in jail for pot?
No, I don't think I have. I've known people that got in trouble here and there for possession, but no real hard time.
Have you noticed that if you go to any public gathering, it smells like pot? I mean,
there's no doubt.
Yeah, they just burnt the brazenness now. It's like, not only is it not, can you not get in trouble, but it's like they're it's more out in the open than like some guy having a cigarette.
The world is changing so fast. The first time I witnessed and experienced that myself was in Las Vegas. I'm walking down the strip and I started smelling it, and that was out of place, because for events, we've gone to Vegas for years and years, and actually the last couple of decades, but we've been to Vegas a lot, and Vegas always had some of the worst rules or laws when it came to marijuana possession. So we're always really careful when we went there. We were always able to get our hands on it, but it was always like, hey, be careful, be careful. So walking down the strip in Vegas, and all of a sudden I'm going, wait a minute, we're in Vegas. Like, this is not cool, I don't think. And just the couple that was walking 10 feet in front of me down the sidewalk, down the strip, was just smoking a joint between the two of them, just walking down the strip like it was no big deal. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what world are we living in right now? Is this what's cool now? It was so profound.
Do you think we will ever live in a world when that couple is in front of you injecting themselves with heroin?
No, different thing. But I mean, if you had asked me, 20 years ago, if this would ever be the world we live in, and I'd say absolutely not. Absolutely not. That will never happen. But here we are, and it's more and more common. It's everywhere you go, like you say, and we're kind of getting over the stigma, where it's really weird because, I'm 50 years old. Growing up, it was, you can't go down that road or you're going to end up nowhere. You're going to end up, as part of the dregs of society, you're going to be a nothing. And I've always thought to myself, well, I just want to be the better example. Like, I go to work every day. I believe I work hard, and I partake just about every day. So, like, am I a piece of shit because I do? And I always lived kind of under that umbrella, or that thought umbrella, I guess, that, don't let anybody find out because it's really, really bad. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I would much rather be around a bunch of stoners than a bunch of drunks, especially in traffic. I don't want to drive amongst drunk drivers, but I don't mind driving amongst a bunch of stoners. I mean, there's a big difference there.
Have you ever made big decisions in your life while stoned?
Yes.
Can you share?
Not even one comes to mind, but I'm probably most of them. We don't think twice about somebody having, cigarette smoking, like you said earlier. It is getting worse and worse as far as what people are tolerating, I guess. And
yes.
You can't do it in restaurants and all that stuff or inside. But I mean, we never would think twice about that growing up, about people smoking cigarettes. And what's the difference here? When you get really stoned, or if you get really drunk, you don't remember what you did the next day. You get really stoned and you're in kind of a haze a little bit, but I don't think it's not the same thing as far as being under the influence, in my opinion. Now you can get really stoned and not really know what's going on. I mean, that you can abuse it any way you want, I'm sure, but I don't think it's the same thing. And I think it's, for me, it's more of taking kind of the edge off of anxiety. And I eat an edible before I go to bed every night, so I'll sleep through the night and I don't wake up. There's a lot of benefit. And I know stoners talk about the benefits all the time, but there really is. And I don't see the same benefit in alcohol. It's just a different animal.
Have I ever had a conversation with you when you were stoned?
I'm sure. Now, there's no doubt about that. But I do notice a difference. Like if I'm coaching football, I want to be sharp for the kids, and I want to know what comes next. I don't want to be standing there scratching my head going, oh, I'm an idiot right now. So I don't smoke, in those situations or eat an edible or anything like that. I try to keep my brain as clear as possible.
Yeah.
When I'm coming on with you, I want to be as sharp as possible. So I did not partake this morning, but I thought about it on the way here. I'm like, no, I'm going to be on Zane. I'll do it later on.
All right. Yeah.
There's no doubt when we run into each other, like when you show up for an event or whatever, there's no doubt if you get close enough, you'll smell it on me.
I think I might have talked to you about this before. At what age would a child of yours be in the clear if they were partaking?
That is an excellent question. Now, some of my best friends I met through paintball when they were young, and their parents smoked. They smoked, but they didn't smoke together because they wouldn't admit it to each other. And I smoked with both of them in different occasions. And I thought that was kind of weird. Now, that was before I had kids. Now I have kids. I've got an almost 11-year-old boy and a 7-year-old daughter. And I think marijuana is good, but I also think that you can't give kids too much because they don't understand how to be responsible. And I'm not saying give too much. I'm saying give too much leeway. So I'm not giving my kid anything like that until he's an adult. Now, you can also argue that what I've always heard, I'm not educated in this manner at all, but I've always heard that the prefrontal cortex is not done developing until you're like 22, 23 years old. So until you're up in that, you're really not making adult decisions until you're into your early, maybe even mid-20s. So I don't really want to affect my kid's course of life by giving him something that could possibly make him lazy until that point in his life where he kind of has his ducks in a row, if that makes sense.
Okay, so if the kid is at 18, you're going to try to talk him out of that.
That's a tough, man. I'm not there yet, and I don't know how I'm going to do in that situation. Like, kids these days are getting exposed to everything, and we've talked about the porn in the woods before and all that stuff. And all these kids are getting exposed to so many things, what seems like earlier than what I did. I don't think that that their waiting is long. There's more information out there. The internet helps with that. He's going to get exposed to it at some point along the way. And I don't know how to handle that yet. I don't know what to do. I don't want to be the asshole dad, but I also don't want to be the idiot dad. So it's like, I don't know how to handle that. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do when that day comes. And I know that day is on the horizon. I just want to do the best thing for my kid.
I don't know. I think if you just treat it like, discourage that until they hit the age that you indicated, and then say, son, as soon as that day hits, you and I are getting high, and actually have a hard and fast line in the sand,
Well, the dad always handing the can of beer to the kid, kind of like on vacation.
Yeah,
when they're out in the desert, and
right.
he gives them the beer. I mean, that's kind of a rite of passage, right? And how old is Rusty in that movie? Like 13, 14 years old?
Yeah, right.
Not the same thing, I don't think, but there's comparisons.
Yep. I see that you had a little chat with Aram there. Aram asked, isn't smoking pot on the job a safety issue? It depends on the job. I would always say that to me, pot should be a thing that should only be in your free time. I don't think it should be in the workplace, and I think that driving stoned is probably is definitely a bad thing. So I treat the changing of the temperament of the person because of the consumption of it to a thing where you're safe. I think that's important. Driving stoned can be a problem. Probably not as bad of a problem as alcohol, but still, I want everyone sober on the road, for God's sake, and I don't want anybody getting hurt. So,
right, sober and in the right lane.
Exactly, in the right lane. Okay. Okay, so we talked about that, but you know what? I'm going to leave it right there. Do you have anything you want to talk about that's burning on your brain? I want to give you the opportunity to air anything that's going on with you.
I'm never ready for that question. Like my life is pretty routine and mundane day to day. I don't have a lot of extracurricular stuff going on. Now that's from my opinion. I have a lot going on, but I just don't think people want to hear about my schedule. It's kind of boring.
I know what it is. It's youth football.
Yeah, youth football right now. We only got a couple more weeks of that. Paintball is on the brand. We go to World Cup shortly after youth football ends, and then we get into our winter season. And I'm thankful that we don't slow down all that much. So I really don't have an off season. We stay pretty busy through the winter. So it's just kind of shifting gears for us and getting ready for the next thing.
How long till axe throwing?
Oh man.
Damn it.
No, it's still coming. It's here. Like all the stuff is here. I just need to put the manpower into building it. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I want to do it, but it's kind of 2 projects away right now. I've got an outdoor project I want to finish before it gets too cold. I've got an indoor project I want to finish before we get to axe throwing. And then once I can focus on axe throwing, it'll go up in a couple days. It's just, again, getting my ducks in a row and being ready for it.
I am full on the fantasy football bandwagon. I'm now 3-1.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it is fun. I really enjoy it. And I'm taking on this dude, Ian, this week, who I think he sucks because his team's 0-4. And I was just looking at his roster, and he's got like 2 or 3 slots that are actually empty.
Oh, so he's not even paying attention.
No.
Yeah, so in that, if your league's got a message board, you just stay quiet. You just hopefully kickoff happens and he still has some spots empty.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Let's see. What will happen first, Tyler says? Axe throwing.
I just read that.
Axe throwing or the ability to prepay for paintball online? Probably axe throwing.
That's great. Yeah, I would definitely, if I was a betting man, I would say the axe throwing will happen first.
Holy shit. Okay, Rick. Have a good one, buddy.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, buddy. Rick from TC Paintball. Holy shit. Trigger time with Rick. I'm telling you, I sensed it forever ago. Rick is a talent. Talk about anything. If you can just get by the fast talking. But I like fast talking because I'm kind of a fast talker too. Thank you, Rick. Oh my God, where are we? Okay, old runner, Biden's pardons, Velma is gay, going to see Smile, Polish Hall, Polish food, donate for the Mike Ball, Eric Zane challenge. All right. Thank you to, actually, let me talk about this. Hire me on Cameo, cameo.com/Eric Zane. If you want to have me roast someone close to you, or maybe yourself, or maybe words of encouragement, whatever you like, you are the boss. You hire me on Cameo for just, I think it's like $15, which is nothing. I'm the most affordable on Cameo and the absolute best at it. There is no one who can do a cameo better than me. Okay? You definitely get your money's worth on Cameo. The only problem is I'm a nobody, but it's still better than everybody. That no one can do what I can do. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. Thank you to Bennett Flooring Installation, 616-318-0167. If you need flooring installed at your in your home, this is what you do. And you are in West Michigan, of course. This is a full-on local sponsor. Reach out to them, and they will come to your house and measure and tell you exactly how much it's going to cost to install the flooring. They encourage you to take care of the grunt work, like getting rid of the old flooring, shit like that. That makes what you're doing less expensive. And they do full service. They'll also remodel your bathroom for you, too. That's something that we don't talk about that often, but they can do that as well. Bennett Flooring Installation, 616-318-0167. Soft opening info. What the hell is that, Eric? The folks at Bennett Flooring Installation, Jacob, and Jacob's better half, are broadening their horizons, and they have purchased a new business, and I'm starting to talk about them on the show, and I want to hold on a second. I'm stalling. There it is. Okay. We will be getting together in beautiful Middleville, Michigan at M37 Hackers. Okay, you're like, what's going on with M37 Hackers? Well, I'm going to show you. It's a business where they have golf simulators, similar to like X Golf. So basically, you put the ball down, you hit the shit out of it, and then all this camera, it tells you where your ball goes, so you play all these courses. So we're going to have leagues. You're all just sitting around, having a glass of wine, drinking a beer, and we're playing golf. Now, this is golf that I would really love to play because you don't have to walk around, and you can sit there and make fun of each other and bust balls with the whole group. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited about this. So M37 Hackers, you'll be hearing more about them in the coming days. And then we're going to schedule an event where we are going to have a select number of people golfing each other, a big golf tournament, teams of 4 or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Jacob's going to put all this shit together, but I am stoked about this. M37 Hackers in Middleville. Josh says, did you say beautiful Middleville? Shut up. So that's what will be happening. We'll be going. It's in Middleville, so you got a little bit of a drive. So it better damn well be good, but I know it will. I'm excited about working with M37 Hackers. All right. That just popped into my brain because that is a Jason Bennett joint. Flooring business and golf simulator business. How about that? Nicely done. The flooring that I need you to buy that you're having installed, please get it at Johnson Carpet One Discount Outlet in Granville. That's on Chicago Drive, right behind the Little Caesars. Ugly beige building, small red lettered sign. Johnson Carpet One Discount Outlet. They buy it in bulk, buy the 53-foot trailer full, set it up in the store, in the warehouse, and then you pick out what you want. It's cheaper than everybody else because they buy so much of it at a time. The top manufacturers, Shaw, Mohawk, best brands, best styles, best selling styles, all there. High quality stuff, and you're just paying a lot less for it because it's kept at the warehouse. They pay for it in mass quantities. And then you throw in my name, Eric Zane, when you walk in, and they will take an additional 10% off of what already is the lowest price in the entire state of Michigan. It is worth the trip to go to Johnson Carpet One Discount Outlet. Bosco's Pub in Hudsonville. That's where we go to meet. Now, next week, Friday, the hockey season starts. And then November 10th, the basketball season starts. So we're going to be having meeting up with the group at usually a 4 p.m. start for those days, and then going over to the arena to watch basketball and hockey. It's going to be awesome at Bosco's Pub. But head there anytime you want for dinner and just the absolute best burgers you can possibly have at Bosco's Pub in Hudsonville. Great atmosphere. Watch the game at Bosco's. Speaking of golf, Texas high school golf team showed up at their home golf course, a local course known as Avery Ranch Golf Club. And the coaches are like, wait a minute, something's up. Because Everybody on the course looked like this. This chick from, looks like it's called the Yellow Rose Gentlemen's Club. This is just gross to me. I don't find, God. Not that she looks bad, but I can't stand looking at young women. It just creeps me out so bad. And thank God for that. Ugh, she's got like her tongue sticking out. So I guess the local strip joint was having like, this big event at the golf course. Here this chick is. She's laying down. This guy's doing like Jello shots on her, whatever the fuck is going on. Who knows? And then the local golf team is the school shows up and they're like, what the fuck is going on here? These kids all immediately get boners. So what happened? The team was forced to cancel the practice after students ran into lewd strippers playing in a tournament sponsored by the Yellow Rose. Vista Ridge High School golfers spotted the dancers hitting balls in their underwear and whatever, scantily clad, partially nude. Unfortunately, our golfers did witness some lewd behavior, the school district said. The coach immediately canceled practice and had all the players contact their parents to come pick them up. The Adult Entertainment Club, which bills itself as a gentleman's club and tantalizing table dances, has been holding its annual tournament and award ceremony. They had been doing that from noon to 5. The event featured a complimentary Bloody Mary bar, a swag bag, and plenty of drinks, according to a flyer for the event. The school's head coach, Keith Allen, said folks from the club were acting very inappropriately and that the school had not been informed it would be sharing the course with them. He also canceled practice the following day due to the unfortunate timing. Reps from the strip club and the golf course didn't immediately return requests for comment. So the school pays the course to do that, and the course doesn't even let the school know that that's happening. That's funny. Well, all's well that ends well. Come on now. It's not that big of a deal. Nobody got hurt. Who cares? I sit here in the show today under the specter as I was getting started about the threat of a nuclear war. Literally, I woke up today and the top story on the Today Show is that Joe Biden off mic is offering a stark warning on the dangers of Putin's threats because, a few times during this whole sequence for the past 8 months or so, the invasion of Ukraine has been the talk of nuclear war. It's come up, and I've actually talked about this on this show months ago in the event that Ukraine starts to win. Would Biden just say, well, looks like we lost and pull up stakes and leave? Would he stay there and keep fighting? Or would he lob a nuclear bomb at them? Some type of missile. And that's, very much a possibility. This man is crazy. And then the whole idea of the United States is so involved in this war. We are in a war right now. We are fighting a war by proxy. The amount of equipment that the Ukrainians, top-level equipment, are using, state-of-the-art, to destroy the Russian army is incredible. It's always difficult when any nation invades another one for them to try to capitalize. The U.S. has done this many times, and we get the shit kicked out of us. That's happened in Afghanistan. That happened in Vietnam. Happened in Iran. And we didn't necessarily get our asses kicked in Iran, but, we left that nation absolutely unstable. It never works. Occupations suck. So I don't give a shit if you are the Russian army. Still, the Ukrainian army is very formidable. Oh, my God. now Putin has been rattling the sabers, and Biden is saying there's a lot more than saber rattling going on. This is a legitimate threat. He delivered a stark warning about the dangers behind Russian President Vladimir Putin's nuclear threats as Moscow continues to face military setbacks in Ukraine, because now Ukraine is winning the war. The quote, "First time since the Cuban Missile Crisis, we have a direct threat of the use of a nuclear weapon if, in fact, things continue down the path they are going." Biden warned during remarks at a Democratic fundraiser in New York where he was introduced by James Murdoch, the youngest son of Rupert Murdoch. He added, "I don't think there's any such thing as the ability to easily use a tactical nuclear weapon and not end up with Armageddon." What? He used the Armageddon word. Fuck. It is striking for the president to speak so candidly and invoke Armageddon. Armageddon. End of humanity as we know it. Particularly at a fundraiser. While his aides from the National Security Council to the State Department to the Pentagon have spoken in much more measured terms, saying they take the threats seriously but don't see the movement on them from the Kremlin. So you got Biden saying, "Oh, yeah, holy crap, I don't think there's any such thing as the ability to easily use a tactical nuclear weapon and not end up with Armageddon." Meanwhile, there's people behind him going, no, shut up. Shut the fuck up, man. It's already bad enough we have to walk back everything you say. You're talking about the A word here, asshole. Biden says, "I'm trying to figure out what is Putin's off-ramp." Biden said during the event, "Where does he find a way out? Where does he find himself in a position that he does not only lose face, but lose significant power within Russia?" That's what I was just talking about, or what I mentioned that I had talked about. His comments come as the U.S. considers how to respond to a range of potential scenarios, including fears that Russians could use tactical nuclear weapons, according to 3 sources briefed on the latest intelligence and previously reported on by CNN. So that would mean, like, we're getting our asses kicked. Let's just start blowing up shit in Ukraine. Now, if that happens and we do nothing, that's a real problem, okay? I would assume that this would mean NATO nuclear strikes from all around the world will then rain down and destroy Russia. And Russia will do its best to try to destroy the U.S. And then you're looking at North Korea, how they would get involved, how China would get involved. My God. Absolutely crazy. I forget about how close we were to nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis, but that was a very, very real threat. Putin has been like, look, hey, the U.S. invented this. He's still going back to the damage that we inflicted at the end of World War II. And he's using that as a template. And he's saying, like, well, if there is no victory here in Ukraine, I'll make it so that there is a victory. I will force a surrender. He's using us as a template. At least that's what he's saying. Excuse me. A U.S. official said that despite Biden's warning that the world is the closest it has been to a nuclear crisis since the 1960s, they have not seen a change to Russia's nuclear posture as of right now. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre's Tuesday statement said there has been no indication of a change in Russia's posture and therefore no change in the U.S. posture still stands, the official said. I don't trust her anyway. She was the one who said, oh, yeah. When the president talked about dead chick last week, it's just because she was top of mind. Yeah, but he was looking for her. There was a clip from that last week that I did not get to play. I didn't have it, but as I saw a clip that in the press corps when they were talking to Karine Jean-Pierre about that, when Biden said, what's her face? Where is she? She put this out. She's been dead for 2 months. That when the press corps was asking questions about it, and she said, yeah, oh, no. He is aware. She was just top of mind. Some reporters said, Well, I'm John Lennon's top of my mind every day, but I don't think he's alive. Oh, my God. That was great. All right. So that's a little disturbing to me. You know? Holy shit. Threat of nuclear war. That bothers me. Oh, my God. Cole says they walk back everything Biden says, so why even let him talk? Yeah, I get it. Josh says, I'm surprised we haven't been nuked already by Joe Biden himself. Josh follows up, but it doesn't matter if she was just talked about. How can she be there if she's dead? Oh, my God. No, you're right. You're right. And to me, in that press conference by Karine Jean-Pierre, the only thing that was appropriate to be said was, well, the president has dementia, but he has enough wits that he doesn't want to step down. So we're just going to leave it at that. This is what happens when you have a president with dementia. Question about preparedness for a nuclear war. How are you doing on your water stockpile, Eric? Okay, here's the water stockpile update. Gallon jugs, rinsed out, and then, according to the CDC, you have to put a certain amount of bleach into the water. All right? And then you rinse out the container with bleach in the water, and then it's sanitized. Then you can hold water for significant time in that container. That's it. I did that. And then I had to go up north, and I don't have running water up there. So I got the water stockpile and brought it up north and used it, and then did not replace it. So I have zero water ready to go, because if there is a nuclear blast, it's not going to be very close to where I am. It's going to be in Detroit, where the tank arsenal is created, and they'll blow up Detroit. But so I'll only get nuclear fallout here. And if I stay protected from nuclear fallout, it takes a few days for that to settle down. You know, what's coming down from the sky. So I'll have to stay indoors. Going to need a water supply here at the household. Do I have any? No. And you need iodine or iodide, whatever. You got to take those and so that it packs your thyroid gland so that it doesn't get loaded with cancer. Jesus. Am I ready? No, of course not. Holy shit. Corey says, with all the empty houses in Detroit, is anything of value really going to be lost? You know, enough with Detroit being the punching bag, okay? That city is a lot better off now than what it was. Shut your stupid troll mouth. All right. Lions are taking on the New England Patriots this weekend, so you'll be watching that. They're taking on the quarterback's name for New England is Zappi. Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi played 3 years at a small college, and then his final year he transferred to Western Kentucky. And in that year at Western Kentucky, he became the single-season leader in passing yards. I think he passed for almost like 6,000 yards in 1 year. And I think he had like 65 touchdown passes. It was an incredible year. But I had never heard of the guy. I just did some research on him because he's going to be the quarterback against the Lions this week. And so Mac, what's-his-face, is out. I think that's the quarterback's name, the starter. And then Brian Hoyer, the backup, he's out. So they go to this rookie, Bailey Zappi, and he's probably going to be the quarterback of choice for the Patriots. Now, you need to know this. He's going to have the game of his life. He's probably going to set a single-game record for passing yards, touchdowns. He's probably going to catch his own pass a few times, rush for 300. It's going to be the single greatest performance by a football player in the history of the game. because he's playing the Lions. So take the Pats, give the points. Your Eric Zane Show podcast, Stone Cold Lock of the Week. All right. Let me help your business. Reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com on the Shoreliner Striping inbox. I'll tell you how marketing on the Eric Zane Show podcast is the most effective marketing you can do. Better than radio, better than internet ads, better than anything. Better than billboards, better than putting it on the TV news. The Eric Zane Show podcast is the single most effective way to have your business exposed to the masses. I'm not even kidding. Reach out, Eric at ericzaneshow.com, and I'll tell you all about it. Case in point, more return customers. That would be Frank Fuss, My Policy Shop Insurance. If you are without health insurance, there is a way out. And I know I say this time and again, and I keep having to say it because not all of you are listening. If you do not have health insurance, would you just trust me and do me this one favor, and that is explore this, because once you do and you're like, oh, that's it? It's that simple? It's true. Call upon Frank Fuss at My Policy Shop Insurance, and he will hold your hand and guide you every step of the way in getting the health care that you deserve for you and your family through healthcare.gov. Now, I mean, truth be told, you can just go there yourself, healthcare.gov, and do all this, but you're going to get to a point where you're like, I'm stuck. I don't know how to answer this, because it's like a survey of questions that they ask you. And it takes a little time. Have Frank do all that for you. His services are free, doesn't cost you a dime, and by the end of the day, not even kidding, you can be insured with excellent insurance. 616-914-4070. How can I afford that, Eric Zane? Don't ask too many questions, okay? Frank will answer that for you. I'm not going to spend the time to answer that right now. If you don't already know, I've gone in great detail on this topic before. But if you don't pay attention, screw it. Have Frank tell you. 616-914-4070. He's also the Medicare Advantage Plan / Social Security guru. No one knows more about those things than Frank. So if you have anyone in your life who's getting set to retire, take on Social Security, Medicare, all that shit, Frank's the guy you got to talk to, because there's all sorts of shit that you're going to screw up, and you're going to skip by these things that you are entitled to through your health care with Social Security and Medicare because you don't know. Frank is the expert. Call out to him. 616-914-4070. We already heard from Rick at TC Paintball. I have a paintball war coming up on October 23rd. That is a Sunday, 4 p.m. start. I want to hear from you if you're coming. TC Paintball, this was originally scheduled for the 16th. We had to move it, though. Rick said, I got to move it. I said, all right, buddy, I'll move it. TCPaintballGR.com. If you want to book your own party, reach out to them online, and they will help you every step of the way. Last but not least, we've got comedy this weekend at Full House Comedy. Go see a show at fullhousecomedy.com in West Michigan. Okay. Young couple meet on Tinder. They're looking to have some sex. Okay? So guy meets girl on Tinder. She's like, yeah, I'm down. Okay? She looks to be kind of like a frail, cutie little thing. I even hate describing her appearance because here she is in a mugshot. You know, this is going to break bad. But she's like, yeah, I need some sex. Young adult in her 20s. 22-year-old Lauren Dooley. She contacted with a 21-year-old dude. Colorado Springs, Colorado. That's where our pal Cole lives. It's probably a big story in your neck of the woods. I see on KXRM TV they talked about this, so you're probably well aware. Don't spoil anything like Kenny always does. Okay, meets guy on Tinder. Yeah, let's do it. Let's pork. All right? By the way, if this existed if Tinder existed back when I was this young, or I should say, if I, like the day before I met Diana, if I started to play with Tinder, I don't think I would have sought out Diana because my sexual urges would have been being met by Tinder. Thank God we didn't have that because I would have been a degenerate. I would have dropped out of college and just would have been robbing banks in order to satisfy. Well, shit, you don't need any money for this, I think. You can just get somebody to agree with you. Jesus. Lauren Dooley, authorities arrested her. The guy shows up and they start to have sex. And she's like, hey, I'm into bondage. Let me bind you. So he's like, yeah, all right, sounds good. And so she tapes up his wrists and ankles. The victim found it odd, but consented to it. However, Lauren whips out a knife. She demands he go into the bedroom. It's still kind of hot at this point. The victim, though, was like, hey, I don't want to do this. Fearing for his life, the victim told authorities he agreed to get into Lauren's bed, where she allegedly proceeded to climb on top of him. It doesn't say whether or not she started to have sex with him again, but you can only imagine this was probably her kink, you know? Some of you have kinks. Well, hell, I got a kink. Old women and dirty feet. Climb on top of him, cut his arm, and choke him with a belt. Upset that he was bleeding all over the sheets, she's like, oh, God, look at you. You're bleeding all over the place. She demanded that he get into her bathtub so that he could bleed in there. It's not so much blood that he's dying, but it's like the NFK when he cut his finger the other day. Get in the bathtub while she ordered food from DoorDash. If you scream or say anything, I'll kill you, Lauren allegedly told the victim as the delivery person arrived. Lauren fell asleep. The victim told officers he was able to free himself of the duct tape with the actual kitchen knife that she used to attack him, and he escaped the apartment parking lot where he called for help. Citing an open 911 call. Yeah, but what time did he call? He's not lying to our ears, is he?
You've got the big butt dick because I know you want to hear it.
Called authorities, said the dispatcher could hear the victim saying he was bleeding all over the bed and telling another person, you're going to kill me. When authorities arrived, they discovered blood-soaked rags, a kitchen knife, and a bloody bathtub during a search of the apartment. Dooley was taken into custody by Colorado Springs police, scheduled to appear in court, well, I think yesterday. It's unclear if Dooley entered a plea to the charges of retaining an attorney who can speak on her behalf. Holy shit, what a kook. My God. Jimmy in Maine says, what's a number? That's weird, Jimmy, about the New England accent. You're writing out what's her number, but if you're speaking it, it's what's a number, which would be WHAT-SANUMBA. What's a number? You should write it out the way you say it, you know? Ka is car. CAH is CAR. Oh, I know. It is ridiculous. Kenny in Nashville says, this does sound rather hot, minus the cutting. Yeah, I don't like the cutting. I mean, if some chick I just met, if I'm single, and some chick I just met says, hey, I want to tape you up, and then you can take me to Pound Town, I'm going to do that. I would have done that. Tyler spells it out, WUTZ-HEH-NUMBH. What's a number? Yeah, I like that better. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the asshole of the day on this show right now. We do it every day at about this time. That means the show's almost over. It's brought to you by TC Paintball. Yesterday, it was Andy Stutzman, the local farmer from Country Gardens, spelled Kuntry, who decided to fertilize his field with buckets of human waste from the outhouse and then claimed it was an accident. If you have any nominations for the asshole of the day, please leave them in the chat. Meanwhile, here's what we talked about today. We're going to see Smile. We got the Polish Hall event after. That's going to be awesome. ATCP, AT Children's Project. Please, if you enjoy this show, click the link at the top of my Facebook page, as you can see right here, and make a donation to the AT Children's Project. You could win a ton of cash. Okay? ATCP.org is their website. This is the link for to make the bet. Right there. There you go. If you enjoy the free podcast, please consider a $25 donation. We're trying to raise $2,000 for the AT Children's Project. Thank you very much. It was $1,000, but Mike Ball himself gave $1,000. Thank you, Mike. You're very kind. He gets embarrassed when I talk about that. Velma is gay. Joe Biden pardons all the people in prison for pot convictions, federal pot convictions. Old dude runner. Trigger time with Rick. Golf team controversy. Threat of nuclear war. A nice email from Amanda in Lima, Ohio. Crazy Tinder bitch. I think we're narrowing it down to Putin. I'm going to throw Biden in as a nominee for waiting 2 years to pardon all those poor slobs in prison for federal pot charges. And Tinder bitch. Putin, Tinder bitch, Biden. Your asshole of the day nominees. Jimmy writes, concerning the film Smile, you guys will have fun at this movie. Wish I was there. You just saw that film yesterday. I want to know what you think of that film. Josh, who is as red state as they come, writes, Biden is the everyday underlying asshole. I disagree. You cannot say that about him. Why would you just say that blanket statement about a man who has Alzheimer's disease? That man is not an asshole. He's a good guy who has Alzheimer's. Jimmy says the film is fun and scary. Smile. We're going to see it tomorrow, 1:10, Celebration Downtown, Studio C, downtown Grand Rapids. I'll be there at 12:50. All right. I'm going to go Tinder bitch and Putin. Yeah, it's got to be Putin. That is your asshole of the day. Because I like living, and I don't want anybody to take my life. Linda writes, the assholes are the pothead MAGA scum who will like Biden's decision but will never admit it. TC Paintball's asshole of the day is Putin. You know, he turned 70 years old today. Today or yesterday, I forget. Happy birthday, Putin. You're the asshole of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will regroup and do the Patreon bonus podcast. Thank you. Till next time, folks. Have a great one. Bye-bye.